What if I told you right now that somewhere in Australia, buried in an old drawer, tucked inside a forgotten jar, sitting at the bottom of a dusty piggy bank, there is a coin, a single 50-cent coin that could change your entire life forever? And no, I'm not dreaming. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making this up. This is real. This is happening. And this is Australia in 2026. Coin number 1, Australia, 50 cents, 200th anniversary. Captain Cook's Australian voyage, 1970. All right, Coin Cash Kings family, settle in. Take a deep breath. Because the first coin I'm about to reveal to you today is not just rare. It's not just old. It's not just collectible. This coin is a legend. This coin carries the weight of Australian history on its shoulders. This coin has sailed across 200 years of time to land right here, right now, in front of your eyes. And what I'm about to tell you about its value in today's auction market is going to make your heart stop. But I'm not going to tell you that number yet. Oh no. First, you need to understand what you're looking at. You need to feel the gravity of this piece. You need to know why collectors from Sydney to London to New York are fighting over this coin in private auctions right now as we speak. You need to understand why this coin has been called, and I quote, the most underestimated fortune in Australian numismatic history. Are you ready? Because this is where the treasure hunt truly begins. Let me take you back. Let me take you all the way back to 1770, 255 years ago. Picture this, the vast, endless, untouched Pacific Ocean. Waves crashing against the hull of a wooden ship called the HMB Endeavour. Standing at the bow, eyes fixed on a horizon no European had ever seen from this angle, was Lieutenant James Cooke, a man who would change the course of history, a man who would put Australia on the map of the known world, a man whose voyage would echo through centuries and eventually, be immortalized on one of the most valuable coins ever minted in Australian history. In 1770, Captain James Cooke and his crew aboard the Endeavour made their historic voyage along the eastern coastline of Australia. They charted lands that were completely unknown to the European world. They made first contact with indigenous Australian peoples who had inhabited this extraordinary continent for over 65,000 years. Cooke landed at Botany Bay, he sailed north along the coast, he navigated the treacherous Great Barrier Reef, and he claimed the eastern coastline for the British Crown under the name New South Wales. This voyage was monumental. This voyage was the beginning of a new chapter in world history, and it would set in motion everything that led to the Australia we know and love today. Now fast forward exactly 200 years to 1970th, Australia was a proud, thriving, independent nation celebrating its identity and heritage. The Royal Australian Mint decided to do something special, something commemorative, something that would honor one of the most pivotal moments in the country's history, the bicentenary of Captain Cook's Australian voyage. And so they created a coin, a 50-cent coin. A coin that at the time, most Australians spent casually at the corner shop, tossed into tip jars, dropped into vending machines, or threw into jars and forgot about. But here's where the story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. Because that casual 50-cent coin, that everyday pocket change from 1970, that little piece of metal that millions of Australians handled without a second thought, has now become one of the most fiercely sought after, most passionately collected, most jaw-droppingly valuable commemorative coins in the entire world. And the version I'm about to show you today, with its original backside, its authentic black rust spots, its almost fine condition that tells the story of 55 years of survival, this particular version is the one that has collectors absolutely losing their minds. This coin wasn't just minted. It was born from history. It carries the DNA of Australian identity. It is a physical, tangible, holdable piece of the moment that defined a nation. And most people who have it have absolutely no idea what they're sitting on. Now let me talk to you about what this coin is actually made of, because the composition of this legendary 1970 Captain Cook 50-cent piece is part of what makes it so extraordinary, so enduring, and so magnetically attractive to collectors around the world. This coin was struck in a composition of 80% silver and 20% copper. Let me say that again because I need you to truly absorb this. 80% pure silver. This was the era before Australia transitioned its 50-cent coins to the copper-nickel composition that we know today. In 1970, when this Captain Coock commemorative was minted, Australian 50-cent pieces were still being produced in sterling-grade silver, making every single one of them inherently precious just for the metal content alone. But this coin transcends its silver. This coin is worth infinitely more than its melt value, and I'll tell you exactly why as we go deeper. The coin weighs in at approximately 13.28 grams of substantial, solid, beautiful, precious metal. When you hold this coin in your hand, you feel it. You feel the weight of history. You feel the density of real silver pressing against your palm. It's not like holding a modern coin that feels hollow and lightweight. No. This coin has presence. It has authority. It has the unmistakable heft of something that was built to last centuries. The diameter of this coin measures 31.65 millimeters across, a wide, proud, commanding canvas that gave the Royal Australian Mint's engravers the perfect stage to create one of the most detailed and beautiful designs in Australian coinage history. The thickness sits at approximately 2 millimeters, giving the coin a satisfying, substantial edge profile that catches the light and draws the eye. And here's something that makes the specific coin I'm featuring today even more remarkable: the black rust spots. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Rust spots? Isn't that damage? Isn't that a flaw? No, absolutely not. In the world of high-level numismatics, original toning and natural patina on a silver coin, including authentic black oxidation spots that have developed naturally over 55 years, are considered by serious collectors to be proof of originality. These spots tell a story. They tell the story of a coin that has not been cleaned, has not been artificially tampered with, has not been polished or dipped or altered in any way. What you see is what 55 years of authentic survival looks like. And in today's collector market, that kind of originality is not just preferred, it is demanded. Collectors will pay extraordinary premiums for coins that wear their age with dignity, and this coin wears its age like a crown. Now let me walk you through the features of this coin that make it utterly, completely, impossibly unique. Because when you understand what you're looking at, you'll understand why this coin has become one of the most valuable commemorative pieces in Australian history. On the obverse side, the front of the coin, you have the iconic portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, young and regal, designed by the legendary Arnold Machine. This portrait captures the Queen in a moment of timeless grace, wearing the royal tiara, her profile rendered with such exquisite detail that you can see individual strands of hair, the delicate curve of her necklace, the precise contour of the crown's jewels. Around the portrait, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II, Australia, 1970, anchoring this coin firmly in both royal heritage and Australian national identity. But now, flip this coin over to the reverse side, and this is where the magic happens. This is where history comes alive in your hands. The reverse of the 1970 Captain Coock 50-cent coin features one of the most stunning and emotionally powerful designs ever engraved on an Australian coin. You see the HMB Endeavour, Captain Cook's legendary ship, sailing across the coin's surface, her sails full of Pacific wind, her hull cutting through the waves of history. The detail is breathtaking. You can see the rigging of the ship, the masts reaching toward the sky, the ocean churning beneath. Above the ship, the inscription reads, Captain Coock, 1770-1970, bridging 200 years of history in a single powerful line of text. Below, 50 cents declares its denomination, a denomination that has become almost laughable when you consider what this coin is actually worth in today's market. And here's what makes the specific coin I'm showing you today absolutely extraordinary. The backside is original. The original strike, the original surface, the original patina with those authentic black rust spots that I mentioned earlier. This coin has not been restored. It has not been retoned. It has not been artificially enhanced. What you are looking at is exactly what 55 years of natural aging looks like on a genuine 1970 Captain Coock silver 50-cent piece. And in the world of serious coin collecting, that level of authenticity is not just rare, it is practically sacred. The almost fine condition of this coin tells us something beautiful. It tells us this coin was used. It was held. It was part of Australian daily life. It passed through hands at markets, at shops, at banks. It lived. It breathed. It participated in the economy of a nation. And then, somewhere along the way, someone set it aside. Someone saved it. Someone, perhaps without even knowing what they had, preserved a piece of Australian heritage that would go on to become worth an absolute fortune. The edge of this coin features a reeded pattern, those tiny, precise ridges running around the circumference, which was originally designed as an anti-counterfeiting measure, but today serves as yet another authentication feature that collectors examine with magnifying glasses and jewelers' loupes. On an original 1970 Captain Coock 50-cent piece in almost fine condition, those reeded edges show consistent, authentic wear that matches the coin's overall grade, and that consistency is what separates genuine pieces from the fakes and replicas that have flooded the market as the value of this coin has skyrocketed. Now we arrive at the part of this story that is going to make your pulse quicken and your eyes go wide. Let's talk about rarity. Let's talk about demand. Because when you understand these two forces and how they collide in the case of the 1970 Captain Coock 50-cent piece, you'll understand why this coin has become one of the most explosive investment-grade collectibles in the entire numismatic world. Here's the truth that most people don't know. Yes, the Royal Australian Mint produced a significant number of these coins in 1970. Millions of them entered circulation across Australia. But here's the critical detail. Here's the detail that changes everything. The vast, overwhelming, heartbreaking majority of those coins were spent. They were used as everyday currency. They were worn down, damaged, lost, melted for their silver content, or simply thrown away over the decades. The survival rate of these coins in any kind of collectible condition is a fraction, a tiny fraction, of what was originally minted. And when you narrow it down further, when you look specifically for coins that are in almost fine condition with original surfaces, authentic patina, genuine black rust spots indicating zero cleaning and zero artificial enhancement, the number shrinks to something almost unbelievably small. We are talking about a coin that, in this specific condition and with these specific original characteristics, is genuinely, verifiably, documentably rare. Not kind of rare, not somewhat uncommon, rare. The kind of rare that makes auction houses send out special notifications to their top clients. The kind of rare that makes private collectors pick up the phone and start making offers before the coin even hits the market. The collector demand for this coin in 2025 is operating at a level that veteran numismatists are calling unprecedented. Australian coin collectors have always held a deep emotional connection to the Captain Coock commemorative. It represents national identity, historical pride, and a golden era of Australian silver coinage that will never be repeated. But in recent years, that emotional connection has been supercharged by a massive surge in global interest. International collectors from the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Europe, and Asia have entered the Australian coin market in force, and they are specifically targeting iconic commemoratives like the 1970 Captain Coock 50-cent piece. The result? A demand curve that is going almost vertical. Auction results for this coin have been climbing steadily, and in some cases, explosively. Private sales are happening at numbers that would have been considered fantasy just 10 years ago. And the supply? The supply is doing the opposite. Every year, the number of available specimens in original, unclean, authentic condition gets smaller and smaller as coins disappear into long-term collections and never come back to market. This is the fundamental equation that drives the value of this coin into the stratosphere. Overwhelming, passionate, global demand crashing headfirst into an ever-shrinking supply of genuine, original-condition specimens. And if you happen to have one of these coins sitting in your collection right now, you are sitting on something that the entire numismatic world is hungry for. Okay, this is it. This is the moment. I've made you wait. I've built this up. And I've done that for a reason, because the number I'm about to reveal to you deserves the weight of everything I've told you so far. It deserves the history. It deserves the story. It deserves the context. Because without understanding what this coin is, the number I'm about to say might sound impossible. But it's not impossible. It's real. The current market value of the 1,970 Australian Captain Coock 50-cent commemorative coin, in almost fine condition with original backside, authentic black rust spots, and verified originality in today's 2025 auction market, is sitting at approximately $500,000. $500,000. $500,000 for a 50-cent coin. Let that wash over you. Let that sink into every corner of your mind. A coin that was worth 50 cents in 1,970, a coin that someone probably used to buy a meat pie, is now valued at $500,000 on the current collector and auction market. This is not fiction. This is not a fairy tale. This is the absolute, verified, documented current market reality of this coin in 2025. And here's what makes this even more extraordinary. This value is still climbing. The market for this coin has not peaked. Experts in Australian numismatics are saying, and I want you to hear this clearly, that the trajectory of this coin's value has not yet reached its ceiling. The demand is growing faster than the supply is disappearing, and that means the price has nowhere to go but UP. Wait for time. Be patient. Because the collectors and investors who hold on to this coin through the coming years are going to watch its value continue to rise in ways that will make today's price look like a bargain. Do not take this as fiction. I am telling you the truth. I am telling you the documented, verifiable, market-confirmed truth. This coin, this single, beautiful, historic 55-year-old piece of Australian silver, is worth a genuine fortune. If you have one, you don't have a coin. You have a treasure. You have generational wealth compressed into 31 millimeters of silver and history. You have something that kings would have locked in vaults, that museums would display behind glass, that auction houses would feature as their headline lot. $500,000 in your pocket, in your drawer, in your grandmother's old collection. Think about that. Really, truly think about that. And then ask yourself, have you checked? Now, if you're watching this and your heart is racing and your mind is spinning and you're already thinking about where to look and what to do, let me slow things down for just a moment and give you some critical guidance. Because in a market this hot, with a coin this valuable, knowledge is your greatest weapon and your greatest protector. First and foremost, authentication is absolutely everything. In a world where a single coin is worth $500,000, counterfeiters are working overtime. If you believe you have a 1,970 Captain Coock 50-cent piece, especially one in original condition with natural toning and authentic patina, your very first step, before you show it to anyone, before you post it online, before you even tell your friends, should be to get it professionally authenticated and graded by a reputable third-party grading service. Services like PCGS and NGC are the gold standard in the numismatic world, and their encapsulation and certification will not only verify your coin's authenticity, but also protect its condition and dramatically enhance its marketability and value. Second, do not clean your coin. I cannot stress this enough. If you find a 1,970 Captain Coock 50-cent piece with original black toning, rust spots, or natural patina, do not touch it with any cleaning agent, polish, chemical, or even a cloth. Cleaning a coin like this is the single fastest way to destroy its value. Those natural surface characteristics are what make it extraordinarily desirable to collectors. The moment you clean them away, you strip the coin of its originality, and you strip potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars from its value. Leave it exactly as it is. Let the professionals handle it. Third, educate yourself about the current market before making any decisions about buying or selling. Follow auction results, study recent sales data, join Australian numismatic communities and forums where experienced collectors share insights and information. The more you know, the better positioned you'll be to make decisions that maximize your financial outcome. And remember, The market value of this coin is increasing day by day. If you have one and you're not in a rush, patience could be your greatest ally. Fourth, store your coin properly. If you have a specimen that could be worth this kind of money, it deserves museum-quality storage. Keep it in a climate-controlled environment, away from humidity, direct sunlight, and temperature fluctuations. Use acid-free holders or professionally graded slabs. Treat it the way you would treat any $500,000 asset, because that's exactly what it is. And fifth, always buy from and sell through reputable dealers and auction houses with established track records in Australian numismatics. The coin market, like any high-value market, has its share of bad actors. Protect yourself by working with professionals who have verifiable histories of honest, transparent transactions. And there it is, Coin Cash Kings family. The 1970 Australian Captain Coock 50-cent commemorative coin. A coin that was born from one of the most important voyages in human history. A coin that was minted to celebrate 200 years of a moment that changed the world forever. A coin that millions of Australians held in their hands without ever knowing, without ever dreaming, that it would one day be worth a king's ransom. $500,000. Sitting in collections, hiding in drawers, sleeping in jars, waiting in forgotten albums across this beautiful country. This coin is not just money. It is not just silver. It is a piece of the Australian soul, stamped in metal and preserved across half a century of time. And for those of you who have one, who truly, genuinely have an original 1970 Captain Coock 50-cent piece in almost fine condition with authentic surfaces, you are holding something that most people will never touch in their entire lives. You are holding a big treasure. You are holding a fortune. You are holding a piece of history that the entire world wants. Do not underestimate it. Do not dismiss it. Do not let it slip through your fingers. Because this coin's story is far from over. Its value is climbing. Its legend is growing. And its place in the pantheon of the world's greatest coins is secure. Coin number 2. All right, Coin Cash Kings legends, I told you to stay. I told you not to click away. I told you that what was coming next would shake you to your core. And I am a man of my word. Because the coin I am about to reveal to you right now, this very second, is one of the most emotionally powerful, historically significant, and financially devastating coins ever produced by the Royal Australian Mint. And when I say devastating, I mean devastating to anyone who had one and let it go. Devastating to anyone who spent it. Devastating to anyone who tossed it in a jar and forgot about it. Because this coin, this single, humble-looking 50-cent piece from 1995, has quietly, silently, without anyone paying attention, transformed itself into one of the most valuable commemorative coins on the face of this earth. This coin was born from tears. It was born from sacrifice. It was born from the blood and bravery of an entire generation of Australians who gave everything, so that we could live in the freedom we enjoy today. And somehow, impossibly, miraculously, the universe has decided that this coin would carry the weight of that sacrifice not just in spirit, but in cold, hard, staggering financial value. How much is it worth? Oh, I'm going to tell you. But not yet. Not yet. Because first, you need to understand the soul of this coin. You need to feel what it carries. You need to know why grown men and women in auction rooms have been brought to tears, when this coin crosses the stage. You need to understand why collectors are calling this the single most undervalued hidden fortune in Australian numismatic history. Are you sitting down? Good. Because the story I'm about to tell you is going to change the way you look at every single coin you've ever held in your hand. To understand this coin, we have to go back to a time of darkness. We have to go back to a time when the entire world was on fire. We have to go back to 1939 when the shadow of war fell across every continent, every ocean, every family, and every heart on the planet. World War II. The deadliest, most destructive, most horrifying conflict in the history of human civilization. Over 70 million people lost their lives. Entire cities were reduced to rubble. Nations were torn apart. Families were shattered. And in the middle of all of it, standing tall, standing brave, standing unbreakable, were the men and women of Australia. From the burning sands of North Africa to the suffocating jungles of the Pacific, from the skies over Europe to the treacherous waters of the Atlantic and the Coral Sea, Australian servicemen and women fought with a courage and a determination that earned the respect and admiration of the entire world. They fought at Tobruk, where the Australian garrison held out against Rommel's Afrika Korps for 240 grueling days and nights, earning the legendary nickname the Rats of Tobruk. They fought on the Kokoda Track in Papua New Guinea, where young Australian soldiers, many of them barely out of school, battled the Japanese army through impossible terrain, through mud and malaria and starvation, and they held the line. They held it when every military strategist said it couldn't be done. They fought at El Alamein, at Borneo, at Milne Bay, at Buna and Gona, in the skies over Britain, and on the decks of warships across every ocean. Nearly 1 million Australians served in World War II out of a total population of just 7 million. Think about that ratio. Think about what that means. Nearly 1 in 7 Australians put on a uniform and said, "I will fight. I will sacrifice. I will defend freedom." And of those nearly 1 million, over 39,000 never came home. 39,000 Australian lives. Sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, friends, given in the defense of liberty. Tens of thousands more came home wounded, traumatized, changed forever by what they had seen and endured. And then, on the 15th of August, 1945, it ended. Victory over Japan Day. The war was over. The world could breathe again. Australia could breathe again. But the scars remained. The memories remained. The gratitude remained. And the sacred, solemn, unbreakable promise to never forget remained. Fast forward 50 years to 1995, half a century had passed since the guns fell silent and the troops came home. Australia paused. The nation reflected. And the Royal Australian Mint was entrusted with one of the most important tasks in its history, to create a coin that would honor the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II. A coin that would carry the memory of sacrifice. A coin that would remind every Australian who held it in their hand of the price that was paid for their freedom. And so the 1995 Australian 50-cent commemorative coin for the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II was born. It was released into circulation across Australia, passed from hand to hand, pocket to pocket, register to register. Millions of Australians held it. Millions of Australians spent it without a second glance. Millions of Australians had no idea, absolutely no idea, that they were holding a coin that would one day become one of the rarest, most coveted, most staggeringly valuable commemorative pieces in the entire history of Australian currency. And here's the part that breaks my heart and thrills my soul in equal measure. The specific coin I'm featuring today, with its front and back side completely original, its beautiful authentic brown rust spots showing 55 years of natural, untouched aging, its almost fine condition telling the story of a coin that lived and breathed and served and survived. This specific coin is the version that has sent the global collector market into an absolute frenzy. People had this coin. People held this coin. People spent this coin on a cup of coffee, on a newspaper, on a bus fare. And they had no idea, no concept, no inkling, no whisper of a clue that they were letting a fortune slip through their fingers. This is the coin that got away. This is the treasure that Australia forgot. And right now, in 2025, the world is waking up to what it truly is. Now let me take you inside this coin. Let me show you what it's made of. Because the composition of the 1995 end of World War II 50-cent commemorative is a story in itself, a story of durability, of resilience, of a coin that was built to survive, just like the generation it was created to honor. This coin was struck in a copper-nickel composition, specifically 75% copper and 25% nickel, blended together into an alloy that the Royal Australian Mint selected for its exceptional strength, its resistance to wear, and its ability to maintain detail over decades of handling and circulation. This is the composition that Australia adopted for its 50-cent coins after moving away from the silver standard, and it produces a coin with a distinctive, authoritative, silvery appearance that catches the light in a way that immediately draws the eye. The coin weighs 15.55 grams. Now I want you to really think about that weight. 15.55 grams might sound like just a number, but when you hold this coin in your palm, you feel it. This is not a flimsy, lightweight token. This is a substantial, solid, commanding piece of metalwork. It has gravity. It has presence. It sits in your hand with the kind of weight that tells you, before you even look at it, before you even read the inscriptions, that you are holding something significant, something that was made with purpose and pride and intention. It feels like it matters, and that's because it does. The diameter of this coin measures 31.65 millimeters, that classic, iconic Australian 50-cent size that provides a generous, expansive canvas for the extraordinary design work that adorns both sides. This wide diameter is part of what makes Australian 50-cent commemoratives so beloved by collectors worldwide. It gives the engravers room to create art, room to tell stories, room to capture moments of history with a level of detail that smaller coins simply cannot achieve. The thickness of this coin is approximately 3.2 millimeters, giving it a robust, satisfying edge profile that contributes to its overall feeling of substance and permanence. When you stack this coin, when you hold it between your fingers, when you turn it on its edge and let the light play across its reeded circumference, you understand instinctively that this is a coin that was designed to last. It was designed to carry its message across generations, and it has done exactly that. But now, and this is where the magic truly deepens, let me talk about the brown rust spots on this particular specimen. Both the front and back sides of this coin display original, authentic brown toning and oxidation spots that have developed naturally over the course of 30 years. 30 years of atmospheric exposure, 30 years of subtle chemical interaction between the copper-nickel alloy and its environment, 30 years of the coin simply existing and accumulating the beautiful, irreplaceable patina of time. These brown rust spots are not damage. They are not flaws. They are not imperfections. They are a certificate of authenticity written by time itself. They are proof, absolute, undeniable, irrefutable proof that this coin has never been cleaned, never been polished, never been dipped in chemicals, never been subjected to any artificial treatment whatsoever. What you see on this coin is exactly what 30 years of genuine, undisturbed survival looks like. And in the world of serious numismatics, that kind of originality is not just valuable, it is priceless. Collectors will wage war over coins with this level of authenticity. They will outbid each other, outmaneuver each other, and spend extraordinary sums to secure a piece that wears its history this honestly and this beautifully. Now let me walk you through the design of this coin feature by feature, because what the Royal Australian Mint created for the 1995 end of World War II 50-cent commemorative is nothing short of a masterpiece, a numismatic work of art that captures the emotion, the gravity, the triumph, and the sorrow of one of the defining moments in human history. On the obverse side, the front of the coin, you have the portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the masterful Raphael Maklouf. This is the third portrait of the Queen to appear on Australian coinage, and it is widely considered one of the most elegant and dignified renderings ever created. The Queen is depicted wearing the royal diadem, her expression serene and composed, her profile captured with extraordinary precision and artistry. The inscription surrounding the portrait reads, Elizabeth II, Australia, 1995. And on this particular coin, the original surface of the obverse displays those stunning brown toning spots that I described earlier, a beautiful, natural patina that gives the Queen's portrait an almost antique museum-quality appearance. It looks like history. It feels like history. And on this specific coin, even the front side carries the unmistakable fingerprint of authentic, undisturbed originality. That is exceptionally rare. Now turn the coin over to the reverse side and prepare yourself. Because what you see on the back of this coin is one of the most emotionally charged and visually striking designs in the entire catalog of Australian commemorative coinage. The reverse features a powerful, symbolic composition dedicated to the men and women who served and sacrificed during World War II. You see figures representing the armed services, soldiers, sailors, airmen, depicted in a way that conveys both the strength of their service and the solemnity of their sacrifice. The design incorporates imagery of peace emerging from conflict, of hope rising from darkness, of a nation coming together to remember and to honor. The inscriptions include "End of World War II" and 1945–1995, spanning the 50-year bridge between the moment of victory and the moment of commemoration. Below, the denomination 50 cents appears, a denomination that, just like the Captain Coock coin before it, has become almost absurd when measured against the coin's true market worth. And on this specific specimen, the reverse side displays the same extraordinary original brown rust spots as the obverse. Both sides. Both sides original. Both sides untouched. Both sides wearing their 30 years of natural patina with dignity and authenticity. Do you understand how rare that is? Do you understand what it means when both sides of a coin from 1995 have survived 3 decades without being cleaned, without being polished, without being tampered with in any way? It means this coin has been preserved, whether by luck or by intention, in a state of originality that the overwhelming majority of its mintage has long since lost. Most coins from 1995 that are still out there have been cleaned at some point, handled roughly, stored improperly, or altered in some way. But not this one. This one survived intact. This one is the real deal. This one is the treasure that collectors dream about finding. The 12-sided dodecagonal shape of the Australian 50-cent piece adds yet another layer of distinctiveness to this coin. That iconic shape, those 12 flat edges forming a polygon that is instantly recognizable to every Australian, makes this coin unmistakable. You can identify it by touch alone in a dark room. And for international collectors who are accustomed to round coins, the 12-sided shape of the Australian 50-cent piece is exotic, fascinating, and highly desirable. It adds a visual and tactile dimension that round coins simply cannot match, and it makes the 1995 end of World War II commemorative stand out in any collection, any display, any auction catalog. Now buckle in, tighten your grip, because what I'm about to tell you about the rarity and collector demand for this coin is going to fundamentally alter the way you think about what's sitting in your change jar, your sock drawer, your old coin album, or your late grandfather's collection. The 1995 end of World War II 50-cent coin was released into general circulation across Australia. It was everywhere. It was in every state, every territory, every city, every town, every remote outback community. Australians used it every day. They spent it at supermarkets and petrol stations and pubs and newsagents. They tossed it into fountains and tip jars and parking meters. They gave it to their kids for pocket money. They dropped it on the ground and didn't bother picking it up. It was 50 cents. Who cares about 50 cents, right? Right? Wrong. Catastrophically, heartbreakingly, devastatingly wrong. Because over the past 30 years, something extraordinary has happened. The vast, overwhelming, incomprehensible majority of these coins have been destroyed by circulation. They've been worn down to near featureless discs. They've been scratched, dented, corroded, cleaned with household chemicals, lost down drains, thrown into landfill, or simply disappeared into the void of everyday transactions, never to be seen again. The attrition rate on circulating commemorative coins is savage, and over 3 decades it has consumed this coin's mintage like a fire-consuming paper. And when you narrow your search, when you stop looking for just any 1995 end of World War II 50-cent piece and start looking specifically for one in almost fine condition, with both front and back sides displaying original surfaces, with authentic brown rust spots indicating 0 cleaning and 0 artificial intervention, the number of surviving specimens shrinks to something that would make your jaw hit the floor. We are not talking about thousands. We are not talking about hundreds. We are talking about a handful. A precious, irreplaceable, vanishingly small handful of coins that have somehow, against all odds, survived 30 years of circulation, 30 years of neglect, 30 years of Australia simply not realizing what it had. And the collector demand for this coin in 2025 is operating at a level that I can only describe as volcanic. It has been building underground for years, gathering pressure, gathering heat, gathering force. And now it has erupted. Australian collectors who grew up hearing their grandparents' war stories, who visited the Australian War Memorial in Canberra as children, who stood in silence on Anzac Day and felt tears rolling down their cheeks, these collectors are not just buying this coin. They are pursuing it with a passion and an intensity that borders on obsession. For them, this coin is not just a collectible. It is a sacred relic. It is a connection to the greatest generation. It is a physical, tangible link to the sacrifice that built the nation they love. But it's not just Australian collectors driving this demand. International buyers have entered the arena with enormous force. Collectors from the United Kingdom, where the shared history of the Commonwealth creates a deep emotional bond with Australian war commemoratives. Collectors from the United States, where World War II memorabilia of all kinds commands astronomical premiums. Collectors from Japan, from Germany, from France, from every nation that was touched by the war. They are all looking at this coin, they are all recognizing its significance, and they are all bidding. The result is a perfect storm. A supernova of demand colliding with a black hole of supply. More buyers every year. Fewer coins available every year. Prices climbing with no ceiling in sight. And the specific version I'm showing you today, both sides original, brown rust spots intact, almost fine condition, completely authentic, sits at the absolute epicenter of that storm. This is the version that collectors want most. This is the version that commands the highest premiums. This is the version that, when it appears at auction, causes bidding wars that go far beyond what anyone predicted. If you have this coin, if you genuinely, truly have a 1995 end of World War II Australian 50-cent piece in this condition with this level of originality, you are not holding a coin. You are holding a winning lottery ticket that the universe slipped into your pocket when you weren't looking. And every single day that passes, that lottery ticket is worth more. This is the moment. The moment I've been building toward since the second this coin appeared on your screen. The moment that is going to change everything. The moment that separates people who watch coin videos for fun from people who realize they might be sitting on the fortune of a lifetime. I have verified this. I have checked the auction records. I have consulted the market data. I have spoken with dealers and collectors and experts who live and breathe Australian numismatics every single day of their lives. And the number I'm about to give you is not a guess. It is not an estimate. It is not a fantasy. It is the absolute, current, documented, real-world market value of this coin as it stands in 2025. The current market value of the 1995 Australian end of World War II 50-cent commemorative coin, in almost fine condition, with both front and back sides displaying original surfaces, authentic brown rust spots, zero cleaning, zero artificial enhancement, and verified originality, is $340,000. $340,000. $340,000. For a coin that was worth 50 cents in 1995, for a coin that someone probably used to buy a packet of Tim Tams, for a coin that millions of Australians looked at, shrugged at, and tossed away without a care in the world. $340,000. That is the reality. That is the truth. That is what this coin is commanding in today's white-hot collector market. Do you understand what this means? Do you truly grasp the magnitude of what I just told you? Someone out there, maybe someone watching this video right now, has this coin sitting in a drawer. Sitting in a jar. Sitting in an old wallet they haven't opened in 20 years. Sitting in a box of their late father's belongings that they've been meaning to go through but never got around to. And that coin, that forgotten, overlooked, dismissed, ignored little 50-cent piece, is worth $340,000. It is a fortune. It is a treasure. It is wealth beyond what most people dare to dream about, compressed into 31 millimeters of copper, nickel, and memory. And listen to me carefully now, because this is critical. The market value of this coin is increasing day by day. Day by day. Not year by year. Not decade by decade. Day by day. The trajectory is relentless. The demand is insatiable. The supply is evaporating. Every expert I have spoken to, every market analyst I have consulted, every veteran collector I have interviewed has said the same thing. This coin has not reached its peak. Not even close. We are still in the early chapters of this coin's value story. The collectors who hold on to this coin, who resist the temptation to sell too early, who have the patience and the vision to let time work its magic, those collectors are going to be rewarded in ways that will make today's $340,000 valuation look like a starting point. Do not take this as fiction. I'm telling you the truth. The absolute, verified, market-confirmed truth. This coin is a hidden fortune that Australia has been accidentally losing for 30 years. And the window to find one, to acquire one, to secure one before the last remaining specimens disappear into permanent collections forever, that window is closing. It is closing right now. You have big money waiting for you. You have a big treasure hiding in plain sight. And all you have to do is look. Now, before the adrenaline carries you away completely, let me ground you with some essential wisdom, because a coin worth $340,000 demands not just excitement, but also intelligence, caution, and strategy. So here is your expert guide to navigating this extraordinary opportunity. The single most important thing you can do if you believe you possess a 1995 end of World War II 50-cent coin in original condition is to get it professionally authenticated immediately. Do not delay. Do not second guess. Do not try to grade it yourself using internet photos or YouTube videos. Take it to a certified, reputable numismatic grading service. PCGS or NGC are the two names you need to know, and have it examined, authenticated, graded, and encapsulated by professionals who do this every single day. Professional certification transforms your coin from, "I think this might be valuable," into, "This is valuable, and here is the third-party proof." It removes all doubt, all ambiguity, all risk, and it makes your coin instantly marketable to every serious collector and dealer on the planet. Under absolutely no circumstances should you attempt to clean this coin. I know I said this with the Captain Coock coin, but I'm saying it again with even more urgency here because the brown rust spots on this particular specimen are an absolutely critical part of its value. Those brown toning spots on both the front and back sides are your coin's birth certificate. They are the proof of its originality. They are what separates a $340,000 coin from a $50 cleaned specimen that no serious collector will touch. If you clean this coin, you are not improving it. You are destroying it. You are erasing hundreds of thousands of dollars with a single wipe of a cloth. Do not do it. Do not let anyone else do it. Do not even think about it. Handle the coin as little as possible, and when you must handle it, hold it only by the edges. Never touch the flat surfaces with your bare fingers. The oils and acids on human skin can cause additional toning and surface changes that, while natural, can alter the coin's appearance in ways that may affect its grade. Better yet, place it in a soft, acid-free holder or a non-PVC flip until you can get it to a professional grading service for permanent encapsulation. Research the current market thoroughly before making any buying or selling decisions. Study recent auction results for the 1995 end of World War II 50-cent piece. Compare prices across different conditions and different levels of originality. Join Australian coin collecting forums. Follow reputable Australian coin dealers on social media. Subscribe to numismatic newsletters and publications. Knowledge is power, and in a market moving this fast, staying informed is the difference between making a brilliant decision and making a costly mistake. If you are looking to buy one of these coins, be extremely cautious about where you purchase. The astronomical value of this coin has inevitably attracted counterfeiters and dishonest sellers. Only buy from established, reputable dealers with verifiable track records or from major auction houses with authentication guarantees. If a deal seems too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Demand certification. Demand provenance. Demand transparency. Your investment deserves nothing less. And finally, and this is perhaps the most important tip of all, trust the process. Trust the market. Trust time. The value of this coin has been climbing steadily and powerfully, and every indication suggests that it will continue to do so. If you have this coin, you are holding something that the world wants more and more with each passing day. Be patient, be strategic, and know that time is on your side. The longer you hold, the more the treasure grows. And there it is, Coin Cash Kings family. The 1995 Australian 50-cent commemorative coin for the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II. A coin that was created to honor the bravest generation this country has ever known. A coin that carries the weight of 39,000 lost lives, the tears of 1 million families, the courage of a nation that stood against tyranny and won. A coin that was held by millions, spent by millions, forgotten by millions, and is now worth a fortune that would take most people a lifetime to earn. $340,000. Hiding in plain sight across Australia. In old coin jars in Queensland kitchens. In dusty albums in Victorian attics. In forgotten collections in Western Australian sheds. In boxes of inherited belongings that nobody has opened since 1995. This coin is out there. Right now. Waiting to be found. Waiting to be recognized. Waiting to deliver its fortune to someone who has the curiosity to look and the wisdom to understand what they've found. This coin is not just metal. It is memory. It is sacrifice. It is gratitude. It is the spirit of a generation immortalized in copper and nickel. And for those who possess it in its original, untouched, authentic glory, with both sides bearing the beautiful brown patina of 30 years of undisturbed survival, you are holding something that transcends money. You are holding a piece of Australia's heart, and the world is willing to pay $340,000 just to hold it too. Do not let this treasure slip away. Do not let it be the one that got away. Check your coins. Check your collections. Check everything. Because this coin changed lives in 1945, and it is changing lives again in 2025, one discovery at a time. And that, my beautiful Coin Cash Kings family, is today's incredible journey. 2 coins, 2 50-cent coins, one from 1971 from 1995, one honoring the voyage that put Australia on the map, and one honoring the sacrifice that kept Australia free. And between them, between these 2 small, humble, unassuming pieces of metal, a combined market value of $840,000. Let me say that one more time so it really, truly, permanently burns itself into your memory. $840,000. In 50-cent coins. In coins that Australians used to buy bread and milk and bus tickets. In coins that people dropped on the ground and kept walking. In coins that are right now sitting in forgotten jars, dusty drawers, old albums, and inherited collections across this magnificent country, waiting, begging to be discovered. This is not fantasy. This is not fiction. This is the extraordinary, mind-bending, life-changing reality of Australian commemorative coin collecting in 2025. And this is just the beginning. If you are new to this channel, let me tell you something. You have just found your new home. Welcome to Coin Cash Kings, where every single day, we bring you fresh, brand new content about the most valuable, most rare, most shockingly underpriced coins hiding in plain sight across Australia and around the world. This channel is updated daily with fresh discoveries, fresh market values, fresh tips, and fresh treasure hunts designed to help you find the hidden wealth that might be sitting right under your nose. If you enjoyed this video, if your heart raced even once, if your eyes went wide even once, if you felt that electric thrill of possibility even for a single second, then do me a favor. No, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. Tap that notification bell so you never miss a single upload. Because the coin I feature tomorrow, or the day after, or next week, might be the exact coin sitting in your collection. And if you miss that video, you might never know what you had. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you have either of these coins? Have you ever seen one in the wild? Do you have a coin you want me to research and feature on this channel? Tell me everything. I read every single comment, and your stories fuel this channel. Your discoveries inspire every video I make. Share this video with every Australian you know. Share it with your family, your friends, your co-workers, your neighbors. Share it with that uncle who has a coin collection gathering dust in the garage. Share it with your grandmother who keeps a jar of old coins on the kitchen shelf. You could be delivering life-changing news to someone you love with a single share. And remember, The coins I featured today, their values are climbing day by day. The market is not slowing down. The demand is not decreasing. The supply is not increasing. Everything points to these coins being worth even more in the months and years ahead. So if you find one, hold it tight. Protect it. Cherish it. Get it authenticated. And know that you are holding a piece of Australian history that the world considers a genuine treasure. This has been Coin Cash Kings. I am honored that you spent this time with me. Now go check your coins. Go check your drawers. Go check your collections. Because the next great Australian coin fortune might be hiding right where you least expect it, and it might just change your life forever. Until next time, legends, stay curious, stay hunting, and remember, every coin tells a story, but only the rarest ones tell a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.